To watch this entire episode, please log in at hellfire.agency. Hellfire Agency is a godless mission of the Church of Korihor, a Utah-based spiritual community for atheists and agnostics. We do our best to research topics, but we are humans who get things wrong sometimes. Opinions are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily represent the position of the Church of Korihor or of any other entity. Remember to log in at hellfire.agency.
Trying to be nice.
I am not selling myself on the internet. But Lala, you're not a Christian if you have colored hair. No, no.
Talking about like giving away her money and stuff. I don't know. She sounded pretty fake. I
married the top OnlyFans creator and I ended up leading her to Christ. Here's how I did it.
I have to point out the little eye roll I couldn't help but notice right there. You wanted to get to know this girl's husband. Here he is. What do you think so far?
I want to punch him. Why is some dude that she doesn't even know and his mother more qualified to tell her what God wants for her than herself?
Are you telling me that this woman traded up from one grift to another to one that's actually easier to make more money?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, don't look at me, friends. It was Lala Sunrise said it. I don't know anything about it.
Do you think I'm wrong? It's not easy.
Okay, so I'm getting a picture of it. Now, did you imagine as a Mormon girl that one day you would sell smut to strangers on the internet?
Big top goes up, preacher works the street. Come find Jesus at the meet and greet. Sell you heaven, then shake you from their feet. They'll raise the dead, they'll cure your gout. Pass the plate, take a pass on down, 'cause charlatans never change. So say it in that holy name. Fools burnt in holy flame. Oh, charlatans never change.
Hellfire Agency, we have Lala Sunrise here with us. Lala, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I was going to say we could just pretend like we haven't known each other for years and years, but I think people are going to figure it out.
It's probably been like 14, 15 years, something like that.
Let's say this. I've known you since you were Mormon. How about that?
Yes.
I said, I'm going to play for Lala. We don't do hymns every podcast episode, but I have got to play for you the favorite hymn of the Church of Korihor. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Confirm for me, Lala. I gave you no warning as to the exact content of this song.
I have no idea what I'm about to hear.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
Gum stuck to my shoe, heavy petting in the neon hue, cracked vase on the kitchen floor. I get what I want, then I want more. Soaking in the bathtub fizz, the way you look at me is a quiz. Teased high like a wild storm. In your arms I feel so warm. Lick my cupcake, sweet sensation. It's a sugar-coated invitation. Don't you know it's such a sin when you don't dig in? Tights and a leather jacket. Got a secret, can you hack it? Lights blur as we drive fast. Make this moment last and last. Pink lipstick on your collar screen. We make a pretty reckless team. 80s music in the air. Nobody else can compare. Sweet sensation. you know it's such a sin when you don't dig in. When you don't dig in.
Interesting.
Hey. Now, did I
Not what I
promise
was expecting. Not at all.
in the Mormon suspender, licking cupcakes is an object lesson that they used to teach girls about virginity. Okay, now this is coming back to you. It might have been chewing gum when you experienced it.
Yeah, I think we did get that lesson.
Okay.
I feel like it was like crumpled paper or something like that.
Ew.
Yeah.
Somehow that's not as disgusting, but very gross.
But now I am piecing together, yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, now the re-traumatizing begins.
I think I have this skill of just like disassociating through things that I don't want to hear. So
don't we all? Isn't that just familiar?
No childhood memories, but somehow many. But I do remember an object lesson like that. I think at that point, I was already like, maybe I hadn't had sex yet, but I'd definitely done a lot of things. So maybe I just didn't care. I don't know. I was also the bishop's daughter. And like, I feel like that comes with it like one of two paths. It's either like the goody two shoes bishop's daughter or like not that. I was not that.
As you are aware, I married a bishop's daughter who is definitely the straight-laced Mormon girl to the end, as you know.
I was getting felt up under the Sunday school table for sure. So
man, they go hard in New York.
I love those temple trips.
Okay, so I'm getting a picture of it. Now, did you imagine as a Mormon girl that one day you would sell smut to strangers on the internet?
No. I had a lot of guilt actually about my experiences. I got an analogy from my bishop once, not my dad, thankfully. By that point, he was a stake president, so I didn't have to talk to him directly.
Stake president's daughter too? Good gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, no wonder you ended up on OnlyFans. Just a joke. That's a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, go on.
But yeah, no, he told me that sex was like glue and it brought people together. But the more people you had sex with, the less sticky your glue was. That was the analogy I got.
That started out gross, went sweet, and then went foul disgusting like in a hurry. It's like the things we say, they say we talk crude, but I mean, your sex is becoming less sticky. Oh yeah, come over here,
which is not the case.
But people can find you on OnlyFans. This is your screen name, Go Lala 3555. Is that right?
Yes, that's true.
So I take it you've been doing that since leaving the church. Have you formally left the church?
Actually, I just started my OnlyFans like 3 months ago, maybe 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I thought you'd been doing it for a long time. But how long have you been out of the church now or out of practice?
During my divorce around 2019 is like the last time I tried to go to church, and I was like,
Where would you put yourself somewhere on the agnostic spectrum now, or not at all, or where do you go with that?
Religion is very complicated for me. I consider myself a spiritual person, and I really don't like organized religion. I think as a whole, it does more harm than good.
Especially with women who leave the church, any church, because it's the same with all the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses I meet, all the ex-evangelicals I meet, is that women, when they leave the church, oftentimes, instead of going to labels like agnostic or atheist, they go to this spiritual thing, because they still, like, they always craved a spiritual side of it, of religion, that most of them, in my experience, felt like they were trying to find in the church, in a church, and it was always being neglected. Like, I wanted this spiritual side, I wanted the spiritual side. Was more about finding their spirituality rather than running away from it.
Yeah, and I think that I've always been a very like spiritual, intuitive person. And so for me, church was always more about like community building. So I don't know, maybe I just have like a different approach to that. Like I've never felt like I needed somebody to tell me how I'm supposed to experience my relationship with the universe and the world. Like I just had to learn to trust myself and not let other people convince me that what I felt inside of myself was okay, you know? Like, I don't know. I was literally just thinking about this yesterday. Like, I, obviously, like, I am in a space where it's like my main source of income is sex work oriented. That has a lot of like negative connotations, that has a lot of like, definitely not Mormon friendly, but like, it feels right for me. That's something Mormon people won't ever be able to understand. They'll say, well, the spirit is lying to you, or like, like whatever. But like, I've always felt like I can tell just intuitively, like what is right for me and what's not.
How much would you say you know about Nala Ray, the ex-OnlyFans minister?
I honestly, me personally, like no idea who that is.
All right, let's try it. So first,
Okay.
we're going to see her. She goes up to the mic at Talking Points USA conference, I believe, where Charlie Kirk is speaking.
I'm Nala Ray. It's so nice to be here today. So I was one of OnlyFans top models for the last 5 years, and I got saved, and I radically gave my life to the Lord and gave that life up.
Praise the Lord.
Praise be.
So I want to know, would you support
right under his eye
a ban on porn in America, and what would you do to make that happen?
If it's, unfortunately, I don't think it's legal, but absolutely. I mean, first of all, porn is no different than a digital opiate and an addiction. I mean, we've seen states that have made it harder to access and porn rates have gone down.
Yeah.
But you were once an OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
What would you have to say to the danger and the damage that does to young people?
Honestly, so much. It depends on sex as well. It has different effects on men than it does women. Like for men, it shuts them down. They don't know how to be in good relationships. They don't know how to treat women. For women, it's all emotional. And they just continue to get compared to the women in porn.
Correct.
So honestly, I'd say some self-control would go a really long way, which is also one of the fruits of the spirit. So I think America needs a revival right now. That's what I think.
Praise the Lord. Stay there for a second. I have a message to men, and then I want you to give a message to women. Men, if you are consuming OnlyFans, it is no different than you going out with a prostitute every night. The only difference is that you guys get to hide behind some screen. You are contributing to the dehumanization and
That's a good question.
I'm just saying.
Do you think it's true that is sex work online the same as sex work in person?
It's definitely not the same as a provider of a service. There's just a lot of differences in that regard. Like the fact that your physical safety is much more assured. I mean, you can have like online stalkers and people who definitely cross boundaries, but there's a lot more steps you can take to protect yourself than when you're just like walking into a hotel room and you're like, are there 5 people behind that door? I don't know. Like there's definitely a difference. From the experiences I've had with men, generally the ones who are just like watching like whatever Pornhub has to offer, whatever, like they are generally more the ones that are like, well, bodies should look like this and orgasm should look like this. And, like very like weird, like kind of like robotic sex and whatever. But the people who like follow just like OnlyFans creators or like people who are just like selling whatever, it's like unedited, it's more real. There's so many different body types, there's so many different experiences. A lot of times it's filmed from the perspective of the person with a vagina, so it's like, this is what I like. They seem to be more educated about like what actually feels good, what bodies actually do, what, it's like, oh, maybe you've actually had sex before, like, I don't know.
It pays off to be an expert in your field, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But it's going to become very clear here as we go into, this is on Nala Ray's Instagram. Like she posted this on her Instagram where she has over 1 million followers.
Okay.
So she claims she's deleted her OnlyFans. I barely looked at it. It's still up, but like there's no content available because basically she says her subscriptions have to run out before she can actually delete it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you some more things from her Instagram account, and we're going to get into this. So this is her Instagram now in the some year or so since she stopped.
Your biggest fantasy is
not even my biggest. It's like one of my fantasies.
That's her.
They say very nasty things about you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we know.
You were a lying, deceiving prostitute.
You said that you lied about everything. People were tagging me in it on social media, and they said, see, Michael, here's proof that she lied to you.
Everything I've said on podcasts is complete clickbait.
Why do you think people want you to be lying?
That happened to her. I can't believe that it's real, because then that means I can change my ways and still get saved.
She was brought up in the church. Is this mental illness?
People have criticized you because they say, you made all this money. Where's the penance? They say you should give all your money away.
People are going to hate me for saying this, but just listen, okay? Just listen.
Mm-hmm.
Giving away all the money that you made doing sinful acts does not make you a Christian. I have so many people in my comments just telling me that they'll only believe me that I'm a Christian if I give away all the sinful money I made doing porn. See, from what I know is from Romans 10:9, the Bible, it says that if you declare with your mouth and you believe in your heart that Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins, then you will be saved. That is all it requires to become a Christian and to turn from your ways and to repent from them. That had to have a real transformation. Am I still doing that? No. I deleted every single thing that could be even potentially explicit content off of all my social medias, dude, off of every single platform I own. I even deleted my entire Twitter. I don't have Twitter anymore. But Nala, you're not a Christian if you have colored hair. No, no, you're not a Christian if you wear makeup. You're not a Christian if you have false eyelashes. You're not a Christian if blah, 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 blah. No, it has nothing to do with your standards on my walk with God. It has everything to do with my standards with walking with God.
Trying to be nice.
She's not here. You don't have to be.
Well, I mean, I like honestly, even like Mormon women, I feel like everyone has their reasons for having, doing the things that they do and ending up where they end up. how she wants to live her life is how she wants to live her life, I guess. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, look, if we're to accept that, so it's fine for a person to choose to do OnlyFans or to do porn outside of OnlyFans or to do it anyway. If we're to say that's fine, let them choose what they want. Then to choose to go to Jesus is fine too. But then this go back to Jesus gal is now saying she wants California legalized across the board, and she wants OnlyFans shut down, and that, OnlyFans creators are prostitutes, and all these Christians coming after her going, if you really believe that, as they all believe, supposedly, then, you'll give back all that money you made from OnlyFans. Do you think that are they hypocrites? Are they crazy? Do they make a good point? What do you think on that?
I think that it comes back to what I've always felt is one of my biggest issues with Christianity, which is the ever-present hypocrisy of like freedom to practice my religion, freedom to choose this and that, whatever, but then trying to force what they have decided works for them on everybody else. And it's like, if you really believed in agency, if you really believed in this, if you really believed in freedom to choose, and that you are the one responsible, you are the one accountable to yourself and to God, you wouldn't need to erase porn from the internet. You wouldn't need to make sure women's bodies are covered up all the time. You wouldn't need to do all these things because you would be accountable to yourself, and you would be not choosing to engage in the things that you think are wrong. Period. You don't need to control everyone else in order for you to live your life a certain way. And it's just the same rhetoric over and over. It's like, look, you don't want to watch porn. You think it's bad. Great, good for you. But that's your religious belief. It's not law. And something our country has always failed at is keeping law separate from religion.
Oh, so you went to Jesus folk from being an OnlyFans creator. And guess what? You found out being Christian doesn't make you not a hypocrite. In fact, being Christian makes you a hypocrite. I mean,
yeah,
it's just
when she was talking about giving away her money and stuff, I don't know, she sounded pretty fake. But
she grew her Instagram following, cut off OnlyFans, stopped that, got saved, started posting Jesus content with her new husband, who was, I'm just going to say it, you can tell me if it sounds, who was love bombing her according to their story. And we're going to hopefully get to their story as we watch her interview. So he was love bombing her with, I know Jesus doesn't want you to be doing this with your life. You need to repent and blah, 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 blah. But I'm just your friend. And then lo and behold, as soon as she does and gets baptized, he goes, you'll never believe this. Now that I've been following you and we've been going on taking trips to Nashville and Florida together, and we've been talking to each other, and you've found your walk with God, I think I love you. I think I could marry you. Oh my God, should we get married? And now all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I totally didn't even think of that, but yes. And miracle of miracles, she has a husband, and you should buy this app, and you should buy this app. It's important. And now they have a ministry together, and on their ministry, you'll never believe what you can buy from their ministry. They have webinar courses where they will teach you how to stop looking at porn, and they will teach you how to stop, how to restart your relationship with Christ. And you can get it for the low price of $15 or $49.95. And it's like, I can see how somebody would look at that and go, so you went from one grift to another. You went from...
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, also, I looked it up once. The highest paid profession in the US at the time I looked it up was televangelists. And a social media influencer who is a Christian, whatever, ministry, whatever, is basically just the modern day version of that. One is a lot easier than the other. One is a lot less vulnerable than the other. Why wouldn't she do that instead?
Are you telling me that this woman traded up from one grift to another to one that's actually easier to make more money?
Yeah, 100%.
Don't look at me, friends. It was Lala Sunrise said it. I don't know anything about it.
Do you think I'm wrong? It's not easy to be a content creator.
But I definitely think I see your point now that you've convinced me. So let's fast forward to the interview with Lila Rose. So again, I told you this is Lila Rose. Her claim to fame basically was that she and James O'Keefe were the guys who did that Acorn thing way back in the Obama years where they supposedly caught Planned Parenthood. So basically she got started on that, and now she runs Live Action, the anti-abortion group, lives high on the hog, making shit tons of money from donations from Jesus people, and basically trying to push really hard her extreme Catholic, like the extremist side of Catholicism.
Yeah. Here's a vulnerable population with a lot of money. Let me take advantage of that. It's all just bullshit. It's all just bullshit.
I don't know, Lala Sunrise. It sounds so nefarious when you say it.
So when you're done judging, when you're
Okay, Nala, we're going to the
I'm done with this one.
To this white girl story.
I became a Christian maybe when I was like 11, 12. My parents had been through a lot. Like they had divorced when I was about 9 years old. We weren't a Christian family then. I'm the middle of 5 children. So my parents divorced and then remarried about 2 years later. And then we really started getting involved into the church. My dad became a pastor for a while. And then slowly things just started kind of falling apart. We went through like 3 church splits, really had a very hard time connecting to the Christian community. I don't know why. I was very young at the time. But as I started getting into my teenage years, things really started changing for me. I went down a very bad, rebellious path. And I don't want anyone to think that it's because of my parents. You know, we make our own decisions. However, really bad things happened to me. I released some information on another podcast stating that when I was 13, I was arrested. And that really took part into my rebellion as a early teenager, like 16, 17. And I just constantly sought after the attention of men, no matter what their age was or, you know, what was going on in the situation. I continually sought after that attention. My dad was gone a lot from working, and I just felt so isolated from my family, you know, like in other ways, like sneaking out of my window at like 3 a.m., not getting back until 5 a.m., meeting random people on the internet to just talk to. And all of that kind of came to a screeching halt when my parents called the cops on me one night, and I was grounded forever.
Wait, why did they call the cops on you?
Because I had snucken out, and they found out that I had snuck out, and like they all woke up. I was getting calls from my mom at like 5 in the morning, like 17. So the cops were questioning me, shining lights in my faces, like trying to get the truth. I was lying about the whole situation.
It doesn't really sound like she regrets anything, just from what I heard.
Interesting.
It sounded like she was just telling a story, but it didn't sound regretful to me. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I was such a bad kid when you know, like what I mean? It's like when they're like telling, and I could be wrong, I could be reading it wrong, but it just didn't seem like, and I think that maybe seeking attention from a lot of like men specifically and this kind of thing. And so maybe this is like a learned behavior in the way that she shares her experience, that she might like actually regret her actions, but she feels like she still has to present it in a way that's like cool, you know?
This telling of the story, is it also for the male gaze, right?
Yeah, which it feels very much like it is. And that's like the vibe that I got, and I'm not saying that like it's intentional on her part, because I think that we all, like, if you were raised as a woman, there are certain things that are just very difficult to unlearn and that are just habit. So it's hard to say like what her actual feelings are, but it could be like the flight, fight, freeze, fawn, and like a fawning response type thing. So, I don't want to say like, oh, you're full of shit, but it feels complicated. It feels complicated.
And I had a counselor explain that to me because my parents like threw me into counseling at like 18, I believe. And she kind of started going through my past with me and was like trying to figure out like why this promiscuous behavior had started. So I told her about them. And my parents found out about it when I was like 16. I didn't told them at all.
Was it, if you don't mind me asking, was it someone related to church, school? What was the kind of connection?
Kind of both. My parents like adopted him for a while. And then he like left our house one day. Like my parents were literally getting ready to sign paperwork to adopt him. He was 16. I was 13 at the time. So he was living in our home constantly. She had explained to me that, the way I was introduced into sex was so dark and perverted. Like, it's hard to come back from that and then do it the pure way, because your introduction to it. And at 13, like I was so terrified because I had no idea what was actually happening, so I went out and did what I wanted to do because I needed some kind of control over it. And that's what she said to me, my therapist. And she was like, you feel as though you need control back from what was taken from you. And I was like, I couldn't agree more. I feel like a caged bird and I feel like I have nothing, everything was taken from me, even like with my dad leaving. And I feel like a lot of people now want to be like, oh, poor you, but you made those decisions to get on OnlyFans and hurt a bunch of people. I'm like, all right, but what about what happened to me? Like, does that not play a part in this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you haven't been through that kind of abuse, you have no idea what it actually does to you.
Is this the same girl that we were listening to earlier?
Right. Yes.
The Jesus girl. Yeah. Same creator. Okay. Just making sure.
Yep. Does it seem like it?
In some ways. Like, okay, one is abuse and one is having sex. Like it's not like this is dirty sex. It's like, no, this is abuse.
At the same time, it's like she is highlighting important things in not only in her story, but in the story of way too many women in our society. It's like this happens.
Yeah.
It feels like she's blaming her OnlyFans phase of making millions of dollars for years on dad wasn't around, I was abused, and I needed power. I wanted to have some control in my life. But
that's the part that confused me, because she was like, yeah, I hurt all of these people through OnlyFans, but I've been hurt too. And I'm just, how are you providing a service that people are opting into? How are you hurting them?
Right.
They're making a choice to consume your content or not. You are not forcing anybody to buy your videos, to subscribe to your page. Like literally.
If you felt like a caged bird in Christianity the first time, coming back to it and caging all these other birds sounds more dangerous than selling them birdseed to go fly away and do what they want.
Yeah. And it just sounds like she's still just buying into whatever other people are telling her. Like, which makes me sad. It's like, maybe she got all of this reinforcement of like, oh, you should do OnlyFans. And she's like, oh, this is what the men want. They want me to do OnlyFans. And then she met this guy and he's like, oh, you should come back to Jesus and stop selling your body. And she's like, oh, this is what he wants. I need to, and it's just like, just figure out what you want. Like,
right.
I want to know what her husband is like.
What he looks like?
What he's like.
Oh, what he is like?
He's probably terrible.
Let's watch some of this, because I cut in. He has a TikTok account and he has an Instagram. He has hundreds of thousands of followers.
At what point did you feel like I don't want to keep doing this?
just like you can't live in the adult film industry forever. At some point you get older. At some point you're kind of undesirable to that world. So I knew it was going to end at some point. Didn't know when, maybe in my 30s. Like I knew I wasn't going to be doing it in my 40s, but like pretty much I was like, I'm in it for the long haul. I'll do this as long as I can, and then walk away from it. But it started when I met my husband now. Kind of popped into his live.
While we get into hubby's story, by the way, I just wanted to mention this real quick here. The telling part of this was I knew I couldn't just do this forever. And I'm sitting there going, that does feel like a clue into this grift shift. Maybe I can switch sides and make money, from that point on. Do this while I've got it, and certainly a lot easier.
There are also times, me personally, where I hear people speaking and it almost sounds like they're repeating words from someone else instead of their own words. And when she said that, it kind of felt like she was repeating something that had been told to her.
And he talked about the Lord a lot. Like that's all he mainly talks about on TikTok Live. So and I have enough knowledge about the Lord, so
I married the top OnlyFans creator and I ended up leading her to Christ. Here's how I did it. We ended up meeting last September in a TikTok battle of all things, and that's what started everything. So I ended up giving her a call because we exchanged each other's numbers. And I just wanted to see like what she did and know more about her. And then that's when I found out she was on OnlyFans. And
now I just have to point out, Lala, I have to point out the little eye roll I couldn't help but notice right there. You wanted to get to know this girl's husband. Here he is. What do you think so far?
I want to punch him.
But that opening line really was, I mean, do you feel the ick? I feel like
it's very ick. It's very ick.
I mean, the bragging, it feels braggadocious to me. I mean, I can speak as a man, I've had lots of experience with being a dude. And this feels like dude bro to the max. It's like you are a child. You've been married less than a year. Yes, to a porn star, a former porn star, but bragging about how righteous you are.
It sounds very like what he's really saying is, I found the Jezebel of all Jezebels and I tamed her. And I, really like it's the word I want to use is broke, like breaking in a horse. Like I broke her, like it's almost like he's bragging about this conquest instead of like,
it's a different kind of conquest. It may not be sexual conquest, it's a different kind of conquest, but is it not a sexual conquest? Because it's like, it feels kind of locker room talk.
Yeah.
In a way. Jesus locker room talk.
Yeah.
So to me, it wasn't that big of an issue because I know that God can set you free from any single thing that you're struggling with, any type of sin that you're struggling with. Oh.
And then he calls me and I'm like, why is this guy calling me, man? I just thought he was joking about that. And so we get on the phone. He talked about God like he was the best thing in the world. Why are you talking about God this way? I've never heard God being spoken about like this. Maybe like a month goes by and he tells me like he's praying for me. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you praying for me? God told me like, this isn't what you're supposed to be doing with your life. And that was such a bold statement coming from him. I was like, what? Like God told you that I'm not supposed to be doing this. I was so offended. Like my demons were raging inside because I was like, that's just not true. I'm happy. Don't you see that I'm happy? Like I have everything I want and you don't, but obviously I didn't have the Lord in my life talking to me and just like dropping these little seeds. I'm praying for you. Here's a Bible verse. Sent me like a video of him talking to me about like the Lord and what he had done in his life. I just wake up to these like texts from him that was just like, I'm so confused. Like everything inside of my ideology was just switching. And I was like, wow, like He'd FaceTime me one time and went to church with me on FaceTime. So it was like he was so bold in his approach with the Lord with me and not scared of what I would say. And I loved that boldness. Like, I'm such a bold person.
And we ended up planning a trip out to Nashville. And that was the first time I ever got to meet her in person and she ever got to meet me in person. I got to see her personality and just how she was like day to day. And we actually clicked really easily. Nothing felt forced. And remember, we were just friends, and that's all we were. There was no friends with benefits, nothing like that. I know it's hard for some of you guys to do that, but you got this. So after the Nashville trip, I would constantly send her Bible verses. I'd be praying for her. My parents would be praying for her. Again, just friends. A couple weeks.
So, okay. What do you think?
What is that? But you got this. Is he like giving a playbook on like how to convert porn stars? Is that what this video is?
That's a great way to say it. It's almost like pickup artisty feeling. Like
It
what,
does. It's like the Christian Andrew Tate. It's the same thing. It's like, here's how to coerce women into doing what you want.
This bro is trying to tell his other bros that he has game, and you can get game too, bro. And they got this Jesus game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
you want to marry the porn star, just pretend you don't want to fuck her. It might be hard. Just do it. You got.
I mean, I was sending her Bible verses every day, and it's going to get into a moment he's talking where they're going to talk about how his mom is the prayer warrior in their family, and he came to her and he's like, I like this girl. I'm not going to marry her because she does dirty things on the internet. I don't even know anything about it, but boy, I just worry about her soul, Mama. I just worry about her heart. And I just need, do you think we could pray for her? And now he's got his whole family praying for this OnlyFans model that is just a friend. And again, we are just friends. Like, there's no thought that I'm going to have anything going on with this girl. And it's like, no, bro, I'm not buying it. You know, I'll buy her story up to a point, but I'm buying like 0.0% of this bullshit story.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she was getting an award from OnlyFans for being the top creator of OnlyFans. And during that time, I had just gotten off live stream and I was in my Bible and I was just praying, you know, and God really hit me and he wanted me to say something to her. So many of us, you know, it's so easy to call out someone's sin, but always never see our own. And for me, I was just like, how do I say this in such a way that it does not push her away, but it calls out her sin? After the event, she ended up seeing that video and got so mad at me, like so mad at me, to the point of us possibly not even talking. But
what was the video?
And now,
so this apparently is the video that she was talking about, where he had sent her a video of him talking to her and telling her, I know because I was praying about you and my mom was praying about you, that Jesus has a better plan for you. You're worth more than this, and you need to stop doing OnlyFans because this is, you know, spiritually destroying you.
And he just made that video.
We talked it out, and she could see that I was coming from a place of love, not judgment, because I truly do care about people, and you should too.
That was when Jordan had the boldness in Nashville to tell me, like, you know, this isn't what God has for you, like face to face, like saying that to me. And I was so like offended. Because I was like, you know, where has God been my whole life? At this point, so much has happened in my life. I don't have my family. I have no friends. Like, where is God exactly? You know, your God is showing up for you all the time, but my God is not. So, and then he was just like, you're so much more worth it than this. It's just like little things, like who would just like dip into conversations with me and would quote scripture verses and stuff about how fearfully and wonderfully made I was, you know, and how God knitted me in my mother's womb. And it just like spun in my head.
I'm just getting like frustrated. Okay. So like, I was talking to someone and I was like, you know, does it bother you that I do this or whatever? And they were like, well, there is one thing that like kind of bugs me. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And they're like, well, you said that you have a bachelor's degree, right? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, like, you have a bachelor's degree. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you know, and I don't know. It was just like, and there have been people who, you know, they're like, well, they try to like these phrases that she's using, or it's like, I'm worth so much more. I was knitted in the womb. I was like trying to make it sound like doing this makes you lesser, that there is a better thing you could be doing. And this is just, the last resort, or the thing that someone with no other skills or nothing else to offer or value would do. And it's just like, I mean, and I will say, like, when I started my OnlyFans, it was like a last resort kind of thing. But honestly, like, if I got a job offer to work for someone else full time on the schedule they wanted, doing the things they want, like, I'm not sure I would rather do that,
Right.
So why is this like the lesser thing? Why is this the only done as a last resort? Why is it like you could do anything, why do this? Because I can't do anything. Why not do this?
Right.
Like, it's always this like rhetoric of like, surely you want to be doing something different if you could.
Right. Because they think it's dirty. You must also feel dirty about it. And it's like, the thing that's interesting to me, because you bring up a good point there with the other work situation. Like, there are a lot of people who it's like, why would I go back? Why would I do that if I could do this instead? And as I'm listening to it, I'm like, what bothers me is how they adopt the feminist rhetoric, basically, of saying, why should women be coerced into doing so many things for the male gaze? And it's like, you've got no room with your anti-feminist rhetoric to adopt this, why should we do this for the male gaze, rhetoric into it. It's like, you're putting Jesus out on the corner and pimping Jesus. That's not a more dignified career profession by any means. And women who have told me, can I tell you that my employer pulled me aside, or someone in HR pulled me aside and said, you need to go home at lunch and come back with a bra on under your shirt because my husband works here. Or, or how many people, like, how many women who have been told things like, could you maybe come into work a little more done up in your makeup? Should we be convinced that there's any work situation where women aren't coerced to do things for the male gaze? Is it just porn?
Well, and 100%. And it's like, okay, so like the last full-time job that I had, it was very obvious that the person who was playing politics and, like coming into work with their makeup every day and like, acting a certain type of way, having a basically different personality for each employee, was the person that was going to get the promotion above me, was the person that was going to have this and whatever. And then like, I got some bullshit about how, the people on the team just weren't confident in me because like one of the people on the team tried to take credit in an email chain for something I had done. And like my boss like commended them in the email chain and said like, oh, good job on that. And I waited like a day to see if he was going to say anything. He didn't. So I responded and I said, oh, actually, I did that. Silence, crickets, nothing. Like, it's just like stuff like that all the time. And then it's like, oh, yeah, of course they don't vibe with me, like, because I'm calling them out on their bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna, but like, what's wrong with wanting to be in charge of your own? Like, would she say that about a woman who is the CEO of a company?
Well, you've watched almost an hour of this episode. Let's face it, you would probably enjoy the whole thing. To watch the rest and to support our work, please visit us at hellfire.agency.